Hello collectors and welcome to my review of the S.H.Figuarts Luigi and Diorama Playset C. Luigi is the second character released from Bandai in the Mario universe, and Playset C is the third accessory set. Coins, warp pipes, and enemies galore. Between these two releases you should have a great Mario display, right? Well, let's take a look and see whether or not they're worth adding into your collection. In terms of looks, Luigi isn't too bad, but those expecting absolute perfection might be a bit disappointed. Generally, Luigi looks great when you're just glancing at him. There really aren't major noticeable issues on this guy. However, on close inspection, the minor imperfections he does have are indeed noticeable, but I would say that they're not so horrible it ruins the figure. First off, though, the worst of the issues for me, the L on the hat. It's not exactly in line with the sculpt marks for it on his hat, but I would say it's only really noticeable when you have Luigi up close in hand. Given this is a rather small issue in the grand scheme of things, you can see most issues will probably be only of the nitpicky kind for you. Here's a look at his face where you can see the paintwork is pretty nice, and even the small sculpt details can be appreciated. You can clearly see Luigi's mouth, even in the shadow there underneath his nice bushy mustache, and you can see the sculpt marks for his ears. Moving down to Luigi's main body, it looks pretty swell. There's really no poorly applied paint on the body. The overalls are nice and blue and they stay on the sculpt where it should be, and the green doesn't even mesh into the overalls too. Now the only issue is that some may find the buttons on the overalls to be a little clumpy because mine has just a little bit of paint bleed on the left one. The arms look nice, but they do have some mold lines which may bother some of you, and these lines can also be found on various parts of the fists too. But overall, you can definitely appreciate the sculpt details on the fists, so it's not that big of an issue. Moving down to the legs, you can see a crease where the overalls would be here on the side, which is a very nice detail, and the boots are very, very nice and shiny. Overall, Luigi might not look perfect to some, but he's pretty nice. I do agree with some people on the fact that, for the price, maybe he could look a little nicer, with one main example being the L on the hat not being perfectly aligned, but considering he does come with some nice accessories and the articulation isn't too bad, it is forgivable. Luigi's articulation is pretty much exactly what you would expect. Unfortunately, it is slightly hindered, but you can get him in some pretty interesting poses. So to begin, Luigi's neck is on a ball joint. A very, very thin ball joint, so you're going to be able to get Luigi to tilt his head forward and back, get him to look from side to side, so on and so forth. But just be careful not to really force anything, because if you do, it really feels like there's a lot of resistance here, moving his head back, so I think it might snap if I push a little too much there. And then moving down, you have the typical Figuarts style shoulder, where it's attached to the body on a ball joint, and then you have a hinge, which allows you to move the arms up and down, forward and back, depending on how you look at things. The elbow, we have a hinge, as you can see here, and the hands are attached on pegs, so the wrists are your basic swivel. Moving down from there, we have the hip area, where the front butt here on Luigi is just your basic swivel, which allows you to move the legs forward and back like so. And then right here, where the thighs attach at the hips, we have a ball joint. So you can move Luigi's legs around like so. And we have a swivel built in there, which is nice. And then you have the knees, which are a hinge, as you can see here. And then the ankles are a barbell style ball joint. So you're going to be able to get Luigi to stick his foot out like so. And you can get a little bit of the ankle rocker motion. And overall, I find his articulation to be slightly better than Mario's, which is not a bad thing. So, is Luigi your typical S.H.Figuarts, which has super dynamic articulation and can be put into pretty much any pose you can think of? Well, sadly, no. But he does have enough joints to the point where, with a little bit of help and some accessories, he is just expressive enough. And moving on to the accessories, Luigi himself comes with a pretty nice amount of them. First and foremost, you get this generic brick block. And you've seen this plenty enough already with the previous Mario stuff, so you pretty much know what to expect here. You got a little hole here, which plugs into the other support stands. And yeah, it's good for army building. Moving on, Luigi comes with another set of hands aside from his default fists. He comes with a set of splayed hands, and to swap these hands out, it's very easy to do. All you have to do is grab the currently attached hand to Luigi. Pops off real easy. And you can see that there is a peg here on his arm. And all you would have to do is just pop the hand onto the wrist peg like so. And there you go. Now Luigi has some splayed hands. And as you can see, there are holes in these hands. And this is so Luigi can hold a Koopa shell. And here's a nice detailed look at the shell where you can see the paint application is rather nice. For the most part, the black paint would be in the indents in the shell, which is pretty nice. You can see there's a little bit of wash on the underside of the shell, and getting Luigi to hold this is relatively easy to do. To get Luigi to hold the Koopa shell, you get 4 of these clear plastic pegs. And what these do is they plug into the Koopa shell. And they plug in, generally speaking, with the larger plug going into the actual holes in the shell, like so. And for these little pegs, you get 2 straight ones, and you get 2 which are at an angle. And for the straight ones, you put them in like so, and for the ones on an angle, you use the back or front end, and you would put them into these holes here. Now, once you plug the little pegs into the shell, you then take Luigi, and you take the little pegs, and you just gently work them in to Luigi's hands. You can do this with the hands either attached to Luigi, or you can attach them to the hands first and then attach them onto Luigi's arms. So there you go. Now Luigi is holding a Koopa shell. And finally, Luigi comes with his own support system, and you don't have to buy a separate diorama set in order to get this. It comes packaged in with Luigi. Yay, they learned from Mario. Anyway, if you have Mario, you pretty much already know what to do here to use this support system. On the back of Luigi, you have this little plug thing, which you can just stick your fingernail in this little divot here and you can pop out. And then all you would have to do is use one of the spare plugs that you get in the actual set with Luigi and just line it up with the holes on his back, like so. And now you can support Luigi in midair. So overall, does Luigi come with a whole lot? Well, debatable. Personally, I think he comes with just enough. But if you're not happy with that, there is another option for you in the form of a Diorama Playset. And Diorama Playset C comes with everything you see here. First off, you get yet another gold coin, which looks really nice. By this point, you should have about 3 or 4 of them if you've been keeping up with all of the S.H.Figuarts releases. The gold chrome paint does have me a bit worried because Bandai doesn't do a good job with this typically. It likes to flake. I know specifically like with Omegamon or the SDCC Mega Man XD arts. Yeah, not too great. And also, you get only 1 little display stand for the coin instead of 2 of them. One so this way you can display the coin at ground level and one displayed hovering. So just keep that in mind. Next up, we get another warp pipe in this set, and instead of it being green, it's red. And it works exactly like the green warp pipe. You get 2 interchangeable top parts. You get one with a lowered base here, so this way you can have characters popping out of the warp pipe, and you get one which has a higher base, so this way you can display, say, the Piranha Plant coming out of it like that. And swapping out the parts is just as easy as I'm showing you. All you have to do is just take the top part off, line it up, and put the other one on. Moving on to the completely new items in the Diorama Playset. First off, we have the Buzzy Beetle here. Pretty nicely done. The white trim around the shell is a little sloppy, but it's nothing to really complain about too much. And as you can see, here's the underside of the Buzzy Beetle. Paint's very nice. Getting a close-up of the eyes here, you can definitely tell that the black paint is heavily applied, and it looks very nice. Very shadowy. Unfortunately, there would be no articulation in the arms overall, so Buzzy Beetle is really nothing more than a display piece, which isn't too bad. But if you wanted to just have a little bit of expression with your Buzzy Beetle, you're not going to be able to get that out of this guy. And finally, we have the Piranha Plant. As you can see here, it's very nicely sculpted because, as you can definitely see, there are sculpt marks here on the leaves. And then you have sculpt marks here on the Piranha Plant base. Flipping it over to the mouth, you can definitely see the back of the throat there. You have the tongue, you have the teeth, pretty sharp. And the paint isn't too bad either. Now, one of the cool gimmicks about the Piranha Plant is, as you would know if you play Mario, they change in size, and they like to come out of the warp pipe. So, to give you different display options, you get this general base here, which can be popped off. So if you want to, you can pop off this bottom portion of the Piranha Plant, like so, and use that as a new attachment part to the base. And then if you don't like that, you can pop that part off, you can go one more down, and if you really want to, you can pop the head off of the stem, so this way you just have the Piranha Plant mouth, which is pretty neat. So you can come up with a whole bunch of different display options for your Piranha Plant, if you would want to, out of the box. And I don't have more than one of these at the moment, unfortunately, but I think that if you get two of them, you can probably just customize them with different parts. This way you can get one really long Piranha Plant. And the reason for this base, as I said, is that it's supposed to be coming out of the warp pipe. And using it with a warp pipe is really easy to do, because all you have to do is just take your warp pipe like so, pick up your Piranha Plant, and then just put your Piranha Plant in. Now that's the different option part with the lower base, but you can definitely use it with the higher base one too, and it'll look a little something like this. So overall, you have a lot of display options for your Piranha Plant. So Diorama Playset C comes with a lot of cool accessories to add into your overall Mario display. You get some generic ones like the warp pipe and the coin, and you get some really unique ones like the Buzzy Beetle and the Piranha Plant. I only have one Diorama Set C at the moment, but I definitely plan to pick up a second one. If you're going to get Luigi, I'd say this is essential to get two. In terms of sizing, Luigi's a rather small guy. Here he is alongside some Dragon Ball Z S.H.Figuarts. Here he is alongside some S.H. Monster Arts. Here's Luigi alongside some of Bandai's Pokemon action figures. Here's Luigi with some Nintendo Figmas. Here he is alongside some Nintendo Nendoroids. And finally, the S.H.Figuarts Luigi alongside the Nendoroid Luigi and the S.H.Figuarts Mario. So as you can see, this Luigi should definitely be able to fit well enough into any of your Super Mario displays. So, buy them now, skip them, or wait for a deal. Luigi looks nice, and the articulation is pretty solid too. It seems like they actually listened to feedback from Mario to make Luigi better, which, I mean, it's fitting since he's best brother. He's also packed with some goodies, so you'll have some display options right out of the box, which you can be very creative with. However, for about $33 through Bluefin, you'd expect something of better quality and maybe another accessory or two. Ultimately, though, factoring in the big picture, specifically the Diorama Playsets, the whole bundle feels right around, say, $56 or so. The repaints between the releases helps to expand the display you have, adding in more bricks and warp pipes, but the new sculpts, the Piranha Plant and the Buzzy Beetle, are simply awesome. Though not perfect, and let's be honest, what figure actually is, these two are nice additions to a Mario collection, and fans of the series should absolutely be pleased. The casual collector just looking to pick up a Luigi figure may not necessarily want to invest too much in this, but rest assured, for a good price, you should be more than content with these two.